This episode of Simple Civics EdTalks is sponsored by InformEdSC.org, South Carolina's most comprehensive and user-friendly nonpartisan data center for critical information about students, teachers, achievement, and funding for public education. Bringing together district and state-level data, InformEdSC.org is a one-stop shop for researchers and champions to advance knowledge and inform action. InformEdSC.org is a special project of Public Education Partners, Greenville County.
Today's episode is an inspiring one. I'm Erin Rigot, and today I'm joined by Mackenzie Keith and Jay Harris, seniors from Greenville County Schools Future Teacher Academy. These students have spent their final year of high school not just learning about education, but living it. Through real classroom experiences and mentorship, they've had a front row seat to the work of teaching. As they wrap up their senior year, we're talking with them about growth, surprises, and what this experience has meant for their future. Let's hear from the next generation of educators. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for being here today and joining us. We are so thrilled to have you and learn more about the Future Teacher Academy experience that you've had. Would you please go ahead and tell our listeners a little bit about yourselves?
My name is Mackenzie Keith. I'm from Fountain High School, and I want to major in early childhood education.
Hi, my name is Jay Harris. I'm from Travelers Rest High School, and I like to major in music education.
That is fantastic. And at the start of this year, you guys have probably been involved a little bit in the Future Teacher Academy, but what would you say, what you were expecting versus what actually happened in reality in this year in the classroom?
For me personally, I went into it kind of thinking I'd be more of an observer than actually being hands-on. I didn't know I'd have the opportunity to plan lessons and teach and lead small groups, so it was super exciting to be involved in that.
I definitely say the same thing. Being in band, it's not very much lesson plans. It's more of like go with the flow, but taking that time to make lesson plans as well. And just going into not small groups, but, taking a section out and working on them one-on-one is a very neat opportunity to have. Also going into Ed 2400, 2500, learning more about the teaching profession as well, learning just the different type of learners and what we'll expect in our teaching placements was a big thing.
That's a great question that comes to mind. How did you get into this? How did you find Future Teacher Academy? What led you to taking that course? Tell our listeners who have no idea what this is, kind of how you got started on this journey.
My mom is actually an elementary school teacher, so I grew up always thinking I wanted to be involved in education. But when I heard that I had the opportunity to do it in high school, I just signed up. I wasn't really knowing what it was going to be like, but I was just excited to learn more about education and get the opportunity to student teach. And just getting to go into the classroom every single day is so important to me, and it reminds me why I love teaching so much.
Just like that, my mom is a special education teacher. So same story, but I just joined band for the fun of it. And then just starting in middle school, just the idea of like, I don't know what I want to do like after high school. And I just was thinking, I was like, I love band and I'd love to see what this like, what music education I can do with. So I was just like, teacher cadet, like my friends were in it. So I was like, okay, why not I try this? But it came out to be Future Teachers Academy. I was like, I thought I was taking teacher cadet.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a fun learning experience. And yeah, we also had this thing called band president that I wanted to go out for in middle school. And I was like, I need to be band president. And I was like, I'm going to do whatever it takes to be band president. And having that like passion to like really, it just unlocked a new version of me just wanting to like own it. And so that's also like why I want to become a teacher.
Nice. So you've spent some real time in classrooms this year. What was it like stepping into the role of a future educator rather than the student role you are most used to?
It definitely gives you a different perspective because you get to see behind the scenes what goes into planning lessons and how difficult it can be to accommodate all different types of students and manage behavior and everything. And I just got to see how important it is to build relationships with the students. I feel like as a student, I've experienced where teachers are very loving and I've gotten to see that side, but I've also had teachers who are kind of the opposite and they don't connect with students. So getting to see it from a teacher perspective and a student perspective has been really helpful overall to understand education and it's taught me how to be the best teacher that I can be.
Seeing the background of the classroom and seeing how everything plays out as well is a big thing. Just taking that time and banning, different sections, different times, just watching that roll out and then, taking that spot for like a student teacher and stepping in when the teacher needs to work on specific students, specific sections, learning that and then getting insight from the teacher about how he's planning to do the rest of like the class and like how he plans it out. It just makes you think that like it really does take a lot of planning and a lot of work to be successful in a classroom.
Yeah.
And I'd say the same thing. Also, building relationships is such a big thing. That's my goal.
Me too. Yeah.
At the end of this year is just to build on that relationship with students one-on-one. And just honestly, like, making students laugh and having making a good environment. In
Yeah,
that
being a role
classroom.
model for them.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Y'all are on the right track already. I can tell. Can you share a moment from your classroom experience this year that's really stuck with you or confirmed that this might be a path you want to pursue? Or maybe just a funny moment that is sticking with you extra hard this year in this experience?
For me, I get to work with small groups a lot. I get to work with kids individually, and there have been so many moments where I'm teaching something and I do it over and over and over and they still don't get it. But then you finally explain it away and they're like, "Oh, I understand now." And just seeing them be proud of themselves and learn and just knowing that you taught them something, that's probably been the highlight of this whole experience. And it reminds me, like I said, why I want to teach, getting to be with students and getting to be a person they can look up to and work with. It's just taught me so much about myself and also how to become a great teacher.
I think seeing students have that light bulb moment
Yeah.
as well. When I am working with like the brass section and they instantly get it, the satisfaction after that and just seeing them grow from what they were and how even just a few reps after they've mastered that section. So seeing that play out is just really encouraging for my teaching profession and like why I want to do this. Like there are some days where it's kind of hard to just like, oh, I have to go to my teaching placement and, maybe not be super involved in this, but like working with just that section and them all working together to make music and do something that I'm really passionate about as well and seeing them passionate about it is just, again, extremely encouraging to see that play out.
How did working alongside your mentor teachers shape your understanding of this profession?
I spent my first 2 semesters junior year in a second grade classroom, and that was super cool to see. That teacher specifically stuck out to me. She really made me enjoy teaching. She allowed me to work with small groups, and she really trusted me, which was nice. And then this year, I've spent both semesters in first grade, but at 2 different schools. So it's been really cool to see the difference and get to see what it's like with different teachers. I think I've learned the most how teachers' ability to manage behavior and to work with students, it makes a huge impact. Even though everyone takes a different approach, it's cool to see what's successful for different kids and how to implement that in your classroom.
I was in middle school last year, so both semesters I was in middle school, and seeing how classroom management is a huge thing for middle school because middle school is a pretty chaotic year for students, and especially learning a new instrument and having this free realm to do whatever you want and play whatever you want at any time is a big behavior problem. But seeing how the teacher can just flip the switch like that is what I want to take into my future classroom, because that is a big thing for band is behavior with instruments, because it does get like that sometimes. And in high school, I'm in high school this semester. That's interesting because the age gap is really small. So seeing especially more behavior, these kids don't want to do anything. And so instead of middle school, all the kids wanting to do something and play their instrument, high school, all these kids don't want to play. So just getting insight on how the teacher wants the kids to not play and they get the kids to play Also, implementing them both was a big thing that I could use from last year to this year.
Yes.
That's great
So,
exposure
yeah.
between the two because they are very different. You are correct.
Extremely different.
My office is across from the band room. And so 6th grade band in August
Yeah.
and 6th grade band in May are very different. Well, you guys are on the leadership board for the Future Teacher Academy. What is the leadership board? How does that operate? How does that work? And what experience has that been like for you?
The leadership board is composed of 2 students from all of the participating schools, and we were given the award, the Heart of a Teacher Award, and they recognized us for being kind of the future teachers of the year, if that makes sense. We showed a lot of potential in the classroom, and they knew that we had a desire to teach. With that, we get a lot of opportunities. We get to do service projects. We've gotten to meet so many people. We actually just met the superintendent and the school board members, so we get a lot of additional experience, and it's really cool to implement that into our placements and share it with other people in the education program.
Yeah, like coming back on Mondays to my senior class and just talking to them about what I learned from the leadership board is very encouraging as well. Because we just had a lunch with the superintendents, like what she said. And so that was bringing that into the classroom and then telling everyone like what we learned was very fun. And getting that extra insight on what it means to be like a teacher and stepping into that leadership role is just really fun as well. And all these workshops that we have, and we get to, be a leader in that and help clean up, help set up, help, just talk and introduce these things.
And I love that we get to meet people from other schools that are so passionate about teaching because sometimes in our schools we are with the same people all the time, but getting to meet people from schools all across Greenville County, I've loved getting the opportunity to meet people and talk to them about teaching.
Yes, 'cause that's how y'all met, right?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
You're on totally different ends of the district.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I love that our partners, like public education partners, are working with this Future Teacher Academy to make this happen because it sounds like you've learned that teaching is beyond just the classroom. It's about being a leader in your community and advocating for students and their families. So well done. That's fantastic. So as you prepare for college and teacher prep programs, how would you say this experience has changed either your confidence or your readiness?
Confidence is a big thing that I had to learn in this placement where I'm at right now. Again, with the age gap, it's so close that it's like I have to be confident in what I say and what I tell them. Even getting a smile for a day is such like a goal for mine. So just, using that information and trying to be a light for this classroom and for being a future educator and
Yes.
hopefully my own high school classroom, it's helping me learn a bunch.
I would say the biggest thing I've learned is behavior management because when there's a ton of 6-year-olds, it's obviously chaotic and it's easy to just want to be friends with them. But I had to learn that it's important to implement discipline and be a good leader and a good role model. And I don't know. I also love getting the experience early because some colleges don't offer student teaching programs until junior or senior year. And I feel like a lot of people in our classes have learned either they love teaching or they don't want to do it anymore. So getting that experience now is really helpful.
Yeah, and I will say, like, getting that experience, go ahead and get that experience. So, like, our last few years when we do our own student teaching, we already had that experience. So we're not, like, too nervous going into it. And also for band, it's a big thing, like helping out with the marching band and stuff, because I can't do that until, like, a little later into my college year. But go ahead and know that that's an opportunity for me, and that I can do that. And learn what I already learned from student teaching is just going to help in the long run.
So we always like to close with asking if you could tell the public one thing about public education, especially after you have been able to see it from both sides, the student and the teacher side of the classroom, what would it be?
I want people to know that there's so much that goes into teaching beyond just teaching lessons and those things. You really have a huge role in a child's life, having to be with them and teach them things that they might not already know, and also just building relationships with them and connecting with them. And I think it's a great thing and having the ability to be empathetic and patient and teach kids lessons and being a support person that some kids might not have outside of school. That's what really sticks out to me.
Yeah, what I think is we need all the support we can get. So, like, from parents, even students, everyone else, that you can just put your trust in public education because it is a really big factor in a student's life, and it leads to everything outside of school. So, like, even, like, after-school activities is a big thing, because that's what shapes students' lives. Because if I didn't have band, I didn't know what I would do. I don't know what I'd end up. So just putting your trust into that and teachers is such a big thing for not only just the next generation, but for, like, your own students, your own children.
Wonderful. Well, I think our listeners will agree that after hearing y'all share your stories today, that our future is looking really bright. And with the future teachers we have hopefully coming back to Greenville County Schools.
Yes.
You got it.
So thank you both so much for being here today and sharing your experience with us.
Of course. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you.
Listening to these seniors reflect on their year is a powerful reminder of why programs like the Future Teacher Academy matter. They've seen firsthand the dedication, complexity, and the heart behind public education. As they move on to college and teacher preparation programs, we couldn't be more proud of the leadership and perspective they're carrying with them. The future of education is in thoughtful, passionate hands.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simpleCivicsGreenvilleCounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.